Night. Rain slicing through the streetlights. A man stands in silence, breathing slow, eyes empty. His enemies think he is just another target. They are wrong. Gunshots explode in the darkness. Bodies fall. Footsteps remain calm. No anger, no panic, just focus. This is the moment people remember when they hear the name John Wick. A man who walks through chaos like it's already written. A man who lost everything, yet never lost control of his mind. But long before modern cinema created a character like John Wick, history had already produced a man who lived with the same mindset. A man who ruled the most powerful empire on earth while fighting an invisible war inside his own head. His name was Marcus Aurelius. Now step away from the bullets and darkness of modern action films and travel nearly 1,800 years back. Imagine a battlefield near the freezing Danube frontier around 170 AD. Tens of thousands of Roman soldiers stand ready for war. The Roman Empire stretches across 3 continents and governs nearly 70 million people. The most powerful man in that empire sits alone inside a dim military tent, not celebrating power, not planning conquest, writing quiet reminders to himself in a personal notebook. That notebook would later become one of the most powerful philosophical books in history, Meditations. But here is the shocking truth. Marcus Aurelius never wrote that book for the world. He wrote it for survival. Because power does not remove suffering. Sometimes it multiplies it. Marcus was born in 121 AD, and from a young age the Roman elite expected discipline, duty, and control. When Emperor Hadrian chose him as the future ruler of Rome, Marcus inherited responsibility most humans would never survive. When he eventually became emperor in 161 AD, the empire immediately fell into crisis. War erupted across borders. Political pressure never stopped. Disease spread across Rome during the Antonine Plague, and tragedy hit his own home. Marcus and his wife had 13 children, yet most of them died young. Imagine leading the largest empire in the world while repeatedly burying your own children. Imagine making decisions that affect millions of lives while your own heart breaks in private. Most men would collapse under that weight. Marcus chose discipline instead. Every night he returned to his journal, not to complain, not to blame the world, but to train his mind. One line from his writings echoes through centuries. You have power over your mind, not outside events. In other words, control your thoughts, or your thoughts will control you. This is where the strange connection appears between Marcus Aurelius and John Wick. Both men lose what they love. Both walk through relentless conflict. Both face enemies and chaos constantly. Yet neither man panics. Neither man wastes energy on emotional noise. Because the real battle is internal. Marcus Aurelius understood something that modern psychology would rediscover thousands of years later. Events do not break people. The meaning we give those events does. He wrote that if something external causes pain, the suffering does not come from the event itself, but from our judgment about it. That idea becomes a weapon. Think about John Wick again. Every scene shows the same principle. Pain arrives, he adapts. Pressure increases, he sharpens focus. Chaos surrounds him, he becomes calmer. That is Stoic discipline in action. Marcus Aurelius described the mind like fire. A powerful fire does not fear what is thrown into it. Wet wood, dry branches, debris, everything becomes fuel. The stronger the fire, the more it consumes. Life works the same way. Problems can weaken a person, or they can become fuel. Marcus reminded himself daily that time is short and fragile. One line from his journal is brutally direct. A person could leave life at any moment, so every thought and action must reflect that reality. That awareness changes behavior instantly. You stop wasting time on meaningless arguments. You stop chasing approval. You stop reacting emotionally to every insult or obstacle. Instead, you act with clarity. Marcus also wrote something that feels almost like a warrior's code. The obstacle itself is not the enemy. The obstacle becomes the path forward. Difficulty becomes training. Resistance builds strength, just like combat training builds a fighter, or like every fight that shapes the legend of John Wick. Marcus Aurelius spent nearly 2 decades leading Roman armies in brutal frontier wars while continuing to practice philosophy. Even as emperor, he saw himself as a student of discipline rather than a master of power. He believed the mind slowly becomes the color of its thoughts. Think bitterness, life becomes bitter. Think fear, life becomes small. Think discipline, life becomes powerful. This idea is simple but dangerous, because it means the quality of your life is not determined by external success, but by internal thinking. And that realization leads to the most powerful transformation in Stoic philosophy. True strength is not domination over others. True strength is mastery over yourself. The world may stay chaotic. People may betray you. Plans may collapse. Loss will eventually arrive for everyone. But the mind can remain steady. Marcus Aurelius proved that while ruling an empire during war and personal tragedy. Centuries later, modern stories like John Wick unknowingly echo the same lesson. The calm warrior, the controlled mind, the refusal to surrender emotionally to chaos. Because in the end, the greatest battlefield is never outside. It is inside the human mind. Empires eventually fall. Wealth disappears. Reputation fades with time. But the mind you train becomes the life you experience. That is the quiet power Marcus Aurelius left behind in his writings nearly 2,000 years ago. And the lesson is timeless. The strongest person in the world is not the one who conquers enemies. The strongest person is the one who conquers himself.